So good morning, everybody. It's 10 o'clock, Monday morning, 5th of March. This is the Ask Tom office hours database service part. So you can ask questions on the database service. And just to be sure, very quickly, you can submit your questions up front, or you can send me an email, or you can send me through chat. That would be nice as well. And I can answer them as soon as possible if I have the answer. If not, then you've got a problem. I'll send you an email later with the answer. We cannot substitute my Oracle support, and it will be dangerous to start discussing your problems in a public chat that might be published. And same is about sharing code secrets, but probably not in this situation. My name, Pastijn from the Netherlands, Europe, Earth, if you want to put it that way. Worked with Oracle for a while. I'm in the database product management team, so I'm not really in the cloud management team, but in the database product management team. So I'm really curious as a bystander to see what the Oracle Cloud is doing for the database, for the Oracle database. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. So no questions yet. So let's skip to a small update that I've prepared on the things that I encountered basically in the Oracle Database Cloud. So the first one seen is that Oracle 18c is now finally really released, even on the GUI level, on the Oracle Database Cloud. So the 18c was released earlier. Dominic Giles, product manager, he already blogged about it with the new features and the new options. And he said, well, this is all available in the cloud. And then the moment you actually got to the console, to the cloud console, it didn't really list 18c. So what turned out is that the GUI was lagging a little bit with the release of the database itself. So if you went and created a database through a REST API, which is what I tried immediately, then the database 18c would actually create, but it was so very frustrating that it wasn't available on the GUI to actually click on it. Now it is, now it's there, so we can work with that. The second thing I found very interesting in the last couple of weeks is that we can now use OCI Classic interface and OCI Classic functionality on top of the OCI infrastructure. So until recently, we had two separate clouds. We had the OCI Classic cloud with the nice GUI screens and things like that, and you could do infrastructure as a service, you could Java as a service, and database as a service, of course. And then suddenly there was a second kind of cloud, which was the OCI cloud, which was mostly on bare metal. It was aimed for bare metal databases. Later on, you could also do virtualized databases on bare metal. Speed was a bit higher than the OCI Classic. Two separate clouds. And now what they started to do is you can use the OCI Classic environment, the OCI Classic setup, screen, wizard, whatever you want to call it, and then create a database on top of OCI. So you can have the nice GUI of OCI Classic and then create something on the very stable and fast OCI environment. So first, 18c in the cloud, finally released, database cloud service. It's not on OCI at this moment. They are working on it, two different teams working on two different images because they're two different products basically, OCI Classic and OCI. So the OCI team is working on it. Expect a release on OCI in a couple of, I think a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe. I'm not sure. No dates, of course, no dates. This is Oracle. And then it will be there on OCI as well. But if you want to start playing with start playing with 18c, you can now create it. I've created a screenshot down here where you can actually list the Oracle database 18c. And on the right side, you can see my 18c database, 18.0.0.0. There are no patches available yet. So it's actually underwater, a 12.202 database. So don't expect any very big enhancements. There are some enhancements. There are probably enough presentations out there on the web. If not, let me know and I'll do a session next week, next month. But the fact that it's there on 18c and that we are now starting in the patch release updates and things like that is very interesting to see that in the cloud as well. On-premise will be delayed a little bit. I mean, at this moment, we focused on releasing the cloud, Linux x86-64, and it will be probably the first platform release on x86-64 as well. And then we have to port it to all of the other platforms, AIX and well, you know all the platforms. So that's it, what we have right now. If you want to play with 18c without installing 18c, there's always LiveSQL. LiveSQL is it's a kind of an Apex application, but it's a very nice system where you can learn SQL, especially the nice new SQL. Two guys in the Oracle team have created a lot of example scripts on how you can make use of 18c, of the new features inside 18c. So if you just go to livesql.oracle.com, all the things that you practice on there are on the 18c database, and you can well, do whatever you want with it. Well, not everything. Some things are locked down. At least it gives you a good idea on what you actually can and cannot do. And a question I've been getting very, very, very often, even internally inside Oracle, they say, well, 18c equals autonomous database. Is 18c the autonomous database? And the answer is no. 18c is 12.202 database with the new numbering. So underwater, it's a next release of 12.2. And 18c will be used to create the autonomous database features, the autonomous database offering that we're going to deliver. First, autonomous data warehouse, and then autonomous OLTP database will be in the future. So 18c as is just a 12.2 database. It's just an Oracle database with pluggable databases, and there's even non-pluggable databases available. So the previous versions, in instance, without DBs, without CDBs. But later on, when we are officially releasing the autonomous data warehouse, OLTP database, data warehouse database, it will be 18c. It will only be in the cloud. So it's 18c database running in the cloud. And what makes it autonomous is the secret sauce that's on top of the combination of the cloud and 18c. So that's the policy-driven automation that you see here on the screen. So please do not confuse 18c with autonomous database. It's a part of autonomous database. So another thing that I found out is that we are now releasing more and more features in the cloud. And there used to be, like I said in the introduction, there used to be OCI Classic, as in the virtualized environments on OCIC databases, data centers. It's fully virtualized disk, virtualized instances. And then there was the Oracle Bare Metal Cloud, or OCI as it was called. So it was only in OCI data centers. We have 3 at this moment in the world. There are a couple of more being built. And every OCI data center had 3 ADs. And that was really, really nice, because you could now do a very good disaster recovery within the area with a guaranteed bandwidth, with all kinds of nice, interesting features that only came with the Bare Metal Cloud. But not all features are available on the Bare Metal Cloud compared to the Oracle OCI Classic interface. Some people prefer the OCI Classic interface, especially, for example, if you want to create a Java as a service connected to a database as a service. You could only do that on OCI because there was no Java as a service available on so you could only do it on OCI Classic. There was no Java as a service available on OCI. Database options differed. So on one you had RMAN on Bare Metal, but not RMAN on VMs. That was on OCI. And on OCI Classic you have RMAN on VMs, but you have to set it up before you create the instance. And on OCI you can do it afterwards, and etc., etc., etc. So what is new in the options is that if you can now have an OCI Classic interface and OCI Classic functionality, but then your database running or your instance running on OCI infrastructure. So on the fast OCI VMs, on the fast OCI Bare Metal, but then with the OCI Classic environment, with the OCI Classic options, OCI Classic interface running on the system. Same options as the OCI Classic data centers, as in RMAN, as in backup recovery, as in, well, all of these things. The only thing is no replication clusters yet. And also very important, keep that in the back of your mind, there is no scaling with OCI VMs for database, but also not for infrastructure as a service. So you can't add CPUs or remove CPUs if you are on an OCI data center. You can do that on OCI Classic. That's very normal. You can just change it, shut it down, start it up. You've got more or less CPUs or more disks or things like that. But you can't scale your CPUs if you are on an OCI data center for database, except, there's always an except if you are on a bare metal instance. So if you're running your database on a bare metal instance, you can scale up and scale down your CPUs even online, so you don't have to bounce your database. So what you see is that all systems have their own functionality and their own options on the system. So if you want to play with this, apparently it's only available if you have a universal credits setup, a universal credits account. If you have a universal credits account, then the region name would be EU-Frankfurt-1. So you have your regular regions, for example, GBCom South 1, used to be like a Zone 43 or Zone 73 or Zone 4. In the new setup and the new universal credits in the new accounts, we now have in our area, in our Europe area, we have GBCom South, which is London or Slough, and we have EUCom North, which is Amsterdam. So the reason why they changed the regions is because, well, in the background, the setup is a little bit different. We've got more resources available in the GBCom South and the EUCom North than we have in the original region zone setup. So if you were on a certain zone, there were some limitations as in resources. You probably never found that out. You never seen that. But internally, we found out that there were some limitations. So then they decided to change the zones into regions, and that those limitations are now gone. So it's really nice. Latest functionalities on infrastructure as a service are available in those new regions. So Frankfurt, South, and North. Be aware that not all functionality is available on database as a service. For example, which is, well, bug has been opened for that, is that if you want to add new NICs, new network interfaces on the cloud systems after reboot, you have to do it again. And also things like security lists that are only available if you reattach them every time you reboot them. So that's not very nice. We are changing that. There are bugs out there, and very soon those limitations will drop as well. But I'll keep you posted on the next Ask Tom office hours for that. So that is for my update this month. I've got a question from Falik saying, what are the new features in 18C? Well, I haven't prepared something very quickly right now. I would have to download some things. There are some new features. If you check the blog from Dominic Giles, I would say, can I see if I can very quickly go to Dominic Giles. So if you type in 18C released for Dominic, then you will probably get, the first hit you get is actually the 18C environments. There's Penny Everall, by the way, on the screen. Let's see, what can you expect? There are some new features here. Multi-tenant. I'm actually looking for this one, sorry. I'm actually looking for this one. The database blog post by Dominic. Come on. Here you are. This is the one I'm looking for. So, strong foundation. What is the change in multi-tenant? What is the change in database in memory? And what is the difference in Oracle database sharding? Those are basically the things that we have. So if you go through this blog post, you will see the new features of database 18C. Like I said, it can be done in one blog post. So that would be there. Second question from Kayo is, can I have 18C in other clouds? Yeah, the answer is yes, once it becomes available on-premise. When the 18C database is released for the operating system that you want to run in the remote cloud, at that moment you can download it for on-premise, and then you can install it yourself in an Amazon cloud or a Google cloud or whatever cloud you want to do. So at this moment, the reason why we released it only for Linux x86-64 in the Oracle Database Cloud is that we can, well, patch all the things that might go wrong. I don't think a lot of things can go wrong because internally we are already running 18C on various systems. But then we can make sure that those bugs are fixed before we release it on other platforms. So main focus right now was on the release, which has been done, Exadata and the cloud. And then slowly in the coming months, you will see releases on other platforms. And the moment your platform is in the list, is released, you can actually upload it into the Oracle Cloud or into any other cloud that you want to have. So that's it for my updates. What I do want to ask you basically is, yeah, what shall we do next month? At this moment, I've no further questions open unless people want to ask questions. I mean, I'm there. Please ask questions, no problem whatsoever. So the big question to you guys is, what shall we do next month, I can do a more in-depth of all available features on OCI Classic, because I can show you my Excel sheet that I'm actually working on, actually saying, well, what do we have on OCI? Because now we have several databases available. We have OCI Classic, we have OCI Classic running on top of OCI, we have OCI VMs, and we have OCI bare metals. So which features are now available in which cloud? As you can see, it's still an interesting schema, and I'm planning on writing a presentation on that for internal use, but I can also present that in the cloud. I mean, that could be an option. So that's an option. Another thing that I could show you, or we can talk about, we can discuss, is actually how to migrate from on-premise into the Oracle Cloud, into the 18C Cloud. Which options do we have for data transfer, for example, for, I don't know, RMAN transfer, data guard transfer, a couple of options in there. How do we do that with pluggable databases and other options? That could be one. We can talk about data guard in the clouds, or rack in the clouds, or, well, 18C new features. I can go into a little bit more in-depth. Sky's the limit, as long as it's on the Oracle Database Cloud and on database, of course. I mean, that would be important. So please let me know. My email address, robert.pastijn@oracle.com. I think you will find that email address on the Ask Tom pages as well. If not, ask me a question next time in the session. I get a notification that if you register for another session, you will actually get the option to ask a question. If you put it in, then I can answer that question, either online or through a presentation. Could be an option. So if there are no further questions, I will actually want to thank you for attending a very short session, 20 minutes. Well, we don't have to do the full hour every time, but 20 minutes can be done. So more Ask Tom office hours is available on https asktom.oracle.com, and in about an hour we will have Stephen talking about PL SQL again. So if you're interested in PL SQL, getting the latest tips and tricks on that option. I'm not sure what his specific subject is this month, but you can always go to Stephen's system, or else go to Dan McGann if you want to talk about JavaScript and the Oracle database. Let's see what he has to say on the new features. Stephen is in an hour, well, 45 minutes actually, and Dan will be at 8 o'clock tonight, CET, 9 o'clock Europe time. So I've got one last question from Falik. Can you please give me a demo of the clouds? Well, that will be, I can do it very quickly. I think I did it last time as well, but I can do it again. Let's see where my thing is. Come on. This is what I was looking for. So very clicky for those people who have never seen it. If you log in to the database cloud, let's see if I have something available. I'm already logged in. So if you log into the Oracle Database Cloud, or to the Oracle Cloud in general, you will get to the dashboard, and there you can actually look at the databases or at the infrastructure as a service that you have running, or things like that. You see an overview of the databases you have, and at that moment you can say, I want to create a database instance. So there we are. You can give it a database name. I can call it Falik's demo, for example. I'm going to put a K in it. Let me just put your name in as well. I can give myself, because it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to actually create one of those instances. They're always created from scratch, and at this moment you can actually send yourself an email to have something. So what you can do is Database Cloud Service Virtual Image. The bottom one will be deprecated, so don't choose that one. You can have a cloud service. Billing hourly or monthly, whatever you want to do. Hourly is a little bit more expensive than monthly, but all the prices are on the page. You can choose the release. Let me put a database 18C in, and you can choose the software edition. So for each information, all of our licenses we have with the Oracle database are pushed in one of these options. Standard edition is standard edition. Enterprise edition is the regular enterprise edition, plus a couple of plus transparent data encryption on the cloud, but also the tuning performance pack, replication testing and subsetting pack, and there's another pack included. I think there's 6 enterprise manager packs included if you choose enterprise manager, enterprise edition. If you choose enterprise edition high performance, basically all features and options and enterprise manager packs for the database are included in this edition. So the license price you don't have to buy a separate multi-tenant license or a separate compression license or a separate whatever license. It's all included except for in-memory, reapplication clusters, and active data cards. So those are the three that are not included. If you want to have reapplication clusters, active data guard, or in-memory, you have to choose for the last option, which is extreme performance, a little bit more expensive per hour, but then you will have all options, really all options available on the system. So I'll choose this one. This moment I can choose for single instance or single instance with data guard. That's the reason, because the high performance doesn't include reapplication clusters. So the moment I choose extreme performance, I should have database clustering with rack or with data guard and rack, or well, whatever you want to do. So let's take a single instance. I mean, it's really matter. In the next page, you will fill in all your details that are concerned with the Oracle database setup. Next screen would be nice. I mean, normally if you demo these things, you just record them and you just replay them. But now, well, this is live, of course. Let's see what's happening in the background. Go on. But in the next screen, you can set up your database SID, basically, name of your database, administrator, username, passwords, the size of your database, how much user data do you want to have inside your environment. Any other options with backup recovery, automatic, what do we have? Restore from a backup or things like that. Not sure why this is taking so long. Come on. It's always nice with a demo, isn't it? I mean, you try to show people something and then it is very slow. I mean, that's never nice. Come on. And there's an option. I've been logging in and out for a while, so. There it is, finally. So database name, whatever you want to call it Falik. I mean, not a problem. You can put a PDB name in there if you want to. Password has to adhere to some special options, system, and things like that. So I'll just put in a password. I'll show you if it works. Database storage, 25 gig available. Total data file storage includes undo table space, temp table spaces, read log files, archive log files. All of these things will add up to approximately 88.5 gigabytes in data file storage. You can choose the size of your environment, 1 OCPU, 2 OCPUs, 15 gigabyte. A small hint from me, the price, if you are on universal credits and only universal credits, the price of 7.5 gig RAM is the same as 15 gig of RAM. So there's no difference between those two. So just choose the 15 gig of RAM. I mean, you can increase your SGA and you can service some more people. SSH key put in. Backup destination, you want to set up automatic RMAN backups into the cloud. You can choose that or not. And that is basically it. You get a, of course, you get a SSH public key thingy. Let's see if I have one in stock. There's my thing. Well, it's outside of your screen, so you can't see this, but oh, I have to choose one. One moment. Must have something here. Here we are. And after this, I can just press next, and it will give me a summary of what I've chosen. And then I can actually click on create, and it will actually create me a database. So that's really nice. So that's one, takes about an hour. After an hour, you will see a screen like this, which will give you an IP address that you can use for your environment. And then you can actually use it. Be aware that only port 22 is open by default for the outside world. Port 1521 is not open for the outside world, just for security reasons. We don't want to open up your database to the world before you are ready for it. But if you want to start opening it up, I think it's in this one or the other one. No, it's in this one. And you can actually say access rules. And then if you want to, with these access rules, you can actually open up port 1521 on your system. And then for the rest, it's a normal database. You just log in with the system and it should work. Same thing we have for the, where are we? This one. Same thing for the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure environment. Yep. Logging in. Same thing. So in this case, I've chosen Frankfurt as one of the options. Here we are, go to the database sections. And as you can see, I already have 2 databases running in the environments. I can create a new database. And it's basically the same thing as in OCI Classic. You just give it a display name. I can call it Verleek again. Where do I want to put it? 81, 2 or 3. In this case, 81. If I want to have a bare metal machine, either big or small, or do I want to have a virtual machine? That only lists me the options that I have. In this case, I can do a 1.2. Number of nodes, if you do 1, you get a single instance. If you do 2, you automatically get a replication cluster database. And then the software edition is pre-chosen for you, because if you want to have a rack environment, you need to have extreme performance. If I go for 1 node, I can actually choose exactly with OCI Classic, Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition, High or Extreme Performance with the same licenses included. Data file storage, how much space do I want? 256 all the way up to a baffling 40 terabytes. That will be increased to I think 60 terabytes or something like that. We've got more options, more space available on the OCI cloud. Well, I can choose some licenses included. Here I've got my SSH keys again. I can choose the other one again. Where are we? Sorry, it's the other screen again, guys. Sorry. Here we are. A public file. Which network do I want? It's all things you need to know about an environment on the system. Database name. I'm just misusing your name a couple of times. Sorry for that. You see 18C not available here. Highest one is 12, 102. So I can, oh, this is the PDB name. You see automatically what my password is that I usually use. PDB01. Do I want automatic backup? What kind of database do I want? And that's basically it. I can say launch. This will take a little bit longer. Difference between an OCI Classic database is that it's single instance, is that it's running just a single instance database without anything else running on virtual disks. If you do an OCI environment like this one, it will install the clusterware layer and it will install the database. It needs to do a dual installation. The database is also running on ASM. It's not running on a file system, so on a regular X4 file system. So a couple of differences between clouds. People have a choice. It's not all the same that we do. We actually offer different types of clouds to those people that have different wishes. But this is basically about it for creating a database. So that's it for today. I want to thank you. So what's the URL for creating database for employees? Well, it's exactly the same as for external people, because as you can see here, this one I'm creating for database is exactly the same as for external people. We are running our demos and we're running our stuff on the public cloud when we do not have an internal system for databases. And if you want to have more information on how you can play as an Oracle employee with databases, then well, just send me an email. You know how to find me, and I will try to help you as good as possible. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. And next month I've got another session. If you want to have more information on Database Cloud and you do have a question or you want me to demonstrate something, please let me know, and I will try to make an interesting hour for you on the system. On that, thank you very much, and well, hope to see you next time. Bye.